I have a tough, crappy question to ask because I shouldn't have to ask this. And that's why it's so tough. Here's the question. When an acquaintance or a friend, even, when a family member or a loved one, even, um, shares good news with you, what's your first response? Not outwardly. What is your first response? Um, here, in here. Um, so let's start throwing out some examples. You've wanted to write a book all your life, and your girlfriend comes to you and says, you know what? God spoke to me. I'm writing a book. I'm going to write a book. What's your first response? You have wanted to drop 25 pounds, and your sister comes to you. You haven't seen her, in a few months. She lives not close to you, and she's like, and you're like, whoa, what happened to you? I dropped 25 pounds. It was really easy. And you're like, what's your first response? You've always wanted to go back to school and get your master's, and your coworker says, hey, guess what? I just got my master's. You have your eye on that Lincoln commercial, and it's not because of the Lincoln. And your neighbor says, check it out, I got my new Lincoln. And you're like, what's your first response? What's your first response? Let's get ugly. Let's get ugly. I refuse to believe that I'm the only person on the planet who, before the words, wow, that's so cool, come out of my mouth, there may be a full-blown battlefield going on inside of me, or there may be just the slightest tinge inside of me. But initially, when somebody else gets what I want, in here, it might not come out here, but in here, it ain't pretty. And I don't like that. So I thought maybe we could take it apart for a couple days. So there's a verse in the Bible. It's in the New Testament. It's in the book of James, like the first chapter, I think. The fourth chapter, I think. But like one of the first verses there in that fourth chapter. And it basically says, why do you have battles? Why do you have fights with other people? Well, it's because you want something you didn't get. You envy something they have, and that's not cool. So, yeah. And yep, it happens every day. Yes, it happens every day that I got to battle inside of myself to get myself not to let that pour out of me. So if you're with me, let's go here with this. If you're with me, let's work on this. Because I believe that the bottom line of it is love. God tells us to love our neighbor as ourselves. And I think most of us, the person we love most in this life is ourselves. That's why God gave that scripture. That's why he used those words. If we didn't love ourselves, he would have said, love your neighbor as your puppy. But he knows dang well we love ourselves. So my word for you today, my word for me today, because I'm the guy working through this. If you're tagging along, good. My word for me today is love your neighbor as yourself. And what's it going to take to do that? First, I got to get rid of all these fuzzies. And then I'm going to work on it. So listen, make a choice today to love your neighbor. And let's talk a little more about this tomorrow. Have a great day.